Only these zodiac signs have received divine gifts. There are people who are impossible to ignore. They seem to radiate a special light. Their presence changes the space, and their words have the power to touch souls. These are the ones to whom the universe has entrusted divine gifts, the power of healing, the ability to feel the truth, to see deeper than the eyes allow. And today you will find out which of the zodiac signs have received this heavenly privilege. This is not a coincidence or just talent. It is a reflection of the heavenly will that guides these people through life. They can influence destinies, attract events, and their energy can awaken others. Their mission is to bring light even when darkness reigns around them. If you feel that you have something special that cannot be explained by logic, perhaps you are among the chosen ones. Watch closely, listen with your heart, because today the truth that has been hidden for centuries will be revealed. Subscribe now so you don't miss the moment when I name those who have touched the divine. It will only get stronger from here. The first sign is Gemini. Gemini are distinguished by a rare divine gift of quickly grasping the essence of things without lengthy explanations and intermediate steps. Their minds work like precision instruments. They pick up on nuances that others miss, see hidden connections between events, people, and decisions, and instantly piece together a mosaic from scattered fragments of information. This gift manifests itself not as inspiration or accidental luck, but as a stable internal ability to work with large amounts of data without fatigue, confusion, or loss of clarity. Gemini are able to think on several levels at once, keep conflicting points of view in mind, and find a practical balance between them. Their divine gift is the power of words in a concrete, effective sense. They use language not as decoration, but as a tool for influence, agreement, and management of processes and people. Where others need time to be persuaded, Gemini achieve results through a precise formula of arguments. They instinctively sense which words open doors and which close them for a long time. It is a rare ability to change the course of events, not through pressure or coercion, but through correctly chosen wording. Another level of their gift is adaptation without losing their own essence. Gemini enter new environments, rules, systems, and groups as if they had always been there. They do not dissolve into foreign orders or break themselves to fit the circumstances, but subtly adjust their form while maintaining their inner core. That is why it is easy for them to work in unstable areas where requirements, rhythms, and directions are constantly changing. They are not afraid of movement because movement is their natural state. The divine gift of Gemini is also manifested in a special sensitivity to information flows. They sense where an important signal is coming from even before it becomes obvious to most people. This is not intuition in a mystical sense, but a subtle, analytical sensitivity to details, moods, pauses, intonations, and small shifts in the behavior of people and systems. Thanks to this, Gemini often find themselves in the right place without external cues, simply because they read the space in time. A separate facet of their gift is the ability to learn quickly without overload. They master complex structures not through mechanical repetition, but through understanding the logic of their construction. It is enough for them to see the principle to recreate the entire system. That is why there are so many people among Gemini who easily change directions, master new professions, and adapt to rapidly developing technologies. Their minds are flexible, not because they are unstable, but because they are tuned to constant renewal. Gemini are also endowed with the divine gift of mediation. They are able to bring opposing sides together without losing objectivity, turning conflicts into constructive agreements and chaos into a manageable process. They see the logic of both sides and find common ground where, at first glance, there appears to be none. This allows them to be effective in complex negotiations, team management, and working with clients, partners, and audiences. Their inner gift is not associated with emotional extremes. On the contrary, Gemini act soberly, clearly, and with cold clarity of mind. They are able to separate personal sympathies from real tasks, to see the situation as it is, without distortion or self-deception. This makes them strategists in building their own lives and careers. They do not move at random, even when it seems that a decision has been made spontaneously. In fact, it is based on internal calculation. The divine gift of Gemini is the ability to control the flow of events through information, communication, and quick thinking. They do not force reality, they change it through precise interaction. Where others spend years searching for an approach, Gemini finds solutions through the right combination of words, contacts, and moments. This gift gives them a special position in the world, not as loud leaders, but as quiet conductors of processes that shape the direction of movement, remaining in the shadows, but with complete control over the structure of what is happening. The second sign is Virgo. Virgo possesses a divine gift of precision, which manifests itself not as pedantry or dry logic, but as a profound ability to see the truth in details. What seems like trifles to most people are keys to understanding processes, people, systems, and decisions for Virgo. She reads reality not through general images, but through specific signs, facts, structures, errors, and deviations. That is why her vision is always deeper than superficial conclusions. Where others can only guess, Virgo already has an accurate conclusion based not on assumptions, but on the real picture. Her divine gift is the ability to bring order to any chaos without demonstrative gestures or loud statements. She does not destroy, but rebuilds. She does not oppress, but corrects. She does not cause fear, but creates a sense of stability. In the space where Virgo appears, randomness gradually disappears. The superfluous is sifted out, and weaknesses become apparent. Her influence is subtle but irreversible. After her intervention, the system can no longer remain the same. Virgo is endowed with the divine gift of purification at the level of thinking. She knows how to separate the essential from the secondary without emotional bias. Her mind works like a filter. Everything superfluous is discarded. Everything necessary takes its rightful place. Thanks to this, she is able to work with extremely complex arrays of information without getting lost or overwhelmed. What paralyzes others becomes material for calm analysis and action for her. Another facet of her gift is a sense of proportion. Virgo knows exactly where enough is enough and where there is excess. She rarely crosses boundaries, not out of fear, but out of internal control of her power. She does not waste resources, neither energy, nor time, nor words. Every action has a purpose, every step has meaning. That is why her path always looks collected, even when instability reigns around her. Virgo's divine gift is the ability to heal not with her hands, but with her presence. She influences people's state of mind through the accuracy of her behavior, calmness, the right words, and the ability to remain silent at the right time. When she is around, the feeling of disorder disappears, tension decreases, and clarity comes. She does not make empty promises or create illusions, but her calmness is more powerful than any words of support. People feel that she can be trusted because there is no chaos in her decisions. A separate divine gift of Virgo is the ability to exercise internal discipline without external coercion. She does not need constant control because her main supervisor is her own conscience and responsibility. She does not put off what needs to be done, does not look for excuses where action is needed. It is this quality that makes her indispensable in areas where the price of error is too high. Virgo is also gifted with the ability to see potential for improvement where others see a finished form. For her, there are no perfect systems, only those that can be made better. She does not devalue what has been achieved, but always knows where to strengthen, correct, and optimize. This makes her a natural development strategist, even if her role appears modest from the outside. Her divine gift is also manifested in her ability for deep self-correction. She is not afraid to admit her mistakes because she perceives them not as a defeat, but as a tool for growth. She learns quickly, but not superficially. Changes in her life always have an internal basis, not a random impulse. That is why her transformations are less frequent, but much more profound than those of most people. Virgo's divine gift is the art of maintaining a balance between control and trust in the process. She knows when to intervene and when to let the system develop on its own. She does not rule with an iron fist, but she does not let things take their course either. Her strength lies in the precise dosage of influence. Virgo's presence in any system always means an increase in quality. She does not promise quick results, but she ensures lasting ones. Her divine gift is not in brightness, but in reliability. Not in loud shifts, but in those changes that form a real foundation. That is why what is created with her participation rarely falls apart, and almost always stands the test of time. The third sign is Aries. Aries is endowed with the divine gift of direct action, without internal doubts and delays. There is no dichotomy between intention and action in his nature. If a decision has matured, it instantly turns into action. This ability is not impulsiveness in the primitive sense. It is a rare internal harmony of will, mind, and body. Aries does not waste energy on prolonged hesitation. It does not get stuck in a state of waiting, so it is always ahead of inertial processes. Its main divine resource is the speed of implementation of intent, without loss of decision quality. His gift manifests itself as an internal engine that does not need external impulses. Aries does not live by the principle of stimulus response. He himself creates the impulse for the movement of systems, people, and events. Where most people wait for a signal, he is already acting. This property makes him a natural initiator of change in any environment. He does not need permission, approval, or guarantees. An inner sense of the correctness of the action is enough. Aries' divine gift is the ability to start processes from scratch. He is not afraid of empty space, the absence of ready-made schemes, or a lack of support. On the contrary, it is in conditions of uncertainty that his strength manifests itself most clearly. Aries does not break under the pressure of a lack of instructions. He himself becomes the instruction. His presence in difficult conditions always means the appearance of the first real step, after which fear loses its absolute power over space. A separate facet of his gift is insensitivity to paralyzing doubts. He does not allow fear to shackle his decisions, does not dwell on scenarios of defeat, does not replay endless negative options. Aries thinks in terms of action, not disaster. That is why he is able, where others stop, to set foot on unfamiliar ground and test its strength with his own step. His divine quality is a natural willingness to take responsibility without shifting blame. When Aries enters a process, he does not look for someone to blame when difficulties arise, nor does he dissolve responsibility into the collective. He acts from a position of personal control over the consequences. This makes him dangerous for weak systems, but indispensable for those in need of radical renewal. Aries' gift is also manifested in his special endurance under pressure. He is not broken by direct blows from the environment, harsh conditions, or lack of support. He does not lose his form where most people go into defense or retreat mode. Stress only activates his inner reserves. That is why Aries is able to hold his position when others are already looking for a way out. Another level of his divine gift is the ability to make decisions at critical moments without blurring responsibility. He does not need collective discussions when time is limited. Aries does not hide behind the opinion of the majority. He takes on the role of the one who determines the direction in high-risk situations. And they do so without internal tremors, relying not on abstract theories, but on an instant reading of reality. Their strength lies in the absence of internal surrender. Even in conditions of exhaustion, Aries does not accept defeat as a final state. He does not allow failure to determine his future trajectory. His divine gift is the ability to rise not from the position of a victim, but from the position of a warrior of action, without dramatization, without expecting sympathy. Aries does not accumulate energy for abstract goals. He uses it in specific tasks that have form, result, and measurable benefit. His gift is not in dreams, but in realization. He rarely talks about his plans for a long time, because he instinctively understands that true strength is manifested not in words, but in the fact of the step taken. Aries' divine gift is the ability to be the first point of movement from which chain reactions of change begin. Its appearance in any system means the beginning of an active phase. It does not create illusions of stability, but creates real forward movement. That is why, after its actions, the space no longer returns to a state of stagnation, but is forced to rebuild itself in accordance with the new rhythm that it launches by its own will. The fourth sign is Capricorn. Capricorn is distinguished by the divine gift of an inner core that does not depend on circumstances, conditions, approval, or external support. This is not rigidity or coldness, but the ability to maintain one's own course of action even when environmental pressure rises to critical levels. Capricorn does not need constant confirmation that it is on the right path, because its support lies not in the opinions of others, but in an inner decision that is no longer subject to fear or doubt. This is what makes them resilient in long processes where quick results are impossible. Their divine gift is the ability to work with time as a resource, not a limitation. Capricorns do not live in a hurry, but they also do not allow time to slip away uselessly. They build results step by step, laying the foundation so that each subsequent step has a real foundation. Where others burn out in quick bursts, they move more slowly but with such precision that deviations from the trajectory are almost impossible. A separate facet of his gift is the ability to endure loneliness in the process of achieving a goal. Capricorn does not depend on the constant presence of like-minded people, does not need the approval of the crowd, and does not stop due to a lack of support. He is able to walk his own path for a long time in silence, without applause, without guarantees of quick rewards. This feature makes them masters of tasks that require long-term concentration without external stimuli. Capricorn's divine gift is a natural sense of the boundary between what is permissible and what is excessive. They rarely cross the line of responsibility, do not make empty promises, and do not take on more than they can handle. Their word carries weight, not because of its loudness, but because of its consistency. When Capricorn takes control of something, the process enters a stable phase where accidents quickly disappear and decisions become systematic. Another level of his gift is the ability to work with matter in the broadest sense. Capricorn intuitively senses the structure of any system, from financial flows to the organization of labor, from resource management to the construction of long-term schemes. They do not see chaos in complex models because their mind is tuned to order, consistency, and the subordination of elements to a common goal. Capricorns are not subject to short-term emotional outbursts and do not make decisions based on excitement or fear. Their divine gift is cold sobriety in critical situations. Where others lose clarity due to stress, he maintains inner balance and the ability to act accurately. That is why, in difficult circumstances, those who seek not support but strength are intuitively drawn to him. His inner strength is also manifested in his ability to withstand the pressure of responsibility without wanting to escape or shift the burden onto others. Capricorn does not shy away from difficult decisions, does not mask fear with indifference, does not hide behind collective opinion. He takes on the role of the one who holds the structure together, even if it requires significant internal effort. A separate aspect of his divine gift is patience without loss of control. They know how to wait, not as a passive observer, but as a strategist who knows that the process is not yet ripe for the active phase. There is no helplessness in their waiting, only a cold calculation of the optimal moment for action. This ability makes them a dangerous opponent in any long-term confrontation. Capricorn does not destroy systems abruptly. His influence always looks like a gradual strengthening that becomes irreversible over time. He changes reality not with explosions, but with the pressure of constant force. That is why the results of his actions are rarely noticeable immediately, but almost never disappear without a trace. Capricorn's divine gift is the ability to rise to the top not by chance, but through a constant, almost imperceptible accumulation of strength. It does not promise quick victories, does not create illusions of an easy path, but forms a trajectory of movement where each subsequent level is achieved not at the cost of exhaustion, but at the cost of inner discipline. This is what distinguishes it from others. Its power is not bright, but relentless, not loud, but unbreakable. The fifth sign is Cancer. Cancer is endowed with the divine gift of a deep sense of a person's inner processes without words, explanations, or external signals. This is not emotionality in the everyday sense, but the ability to read a person's state, tension, hidden motives, and true intentions at the level of their inner structure. Cancer sees where words do not match reality. Senses lies not through facts, but through changes in the energy of the interlocutor. It is this ability that allows them to accurately navigate complex human interactions, bypass traps, and avoid situations in which the external facade does not correspond to the essence. Cancer's divine gift is an absolute memory for emotional states, reactions, and details of relationships. They do not forget what really matters. His mind stores not images and words, but impressions of experiences. That is why Cancer is able to build deep, lasting relationships without superficial attachments. He remembers who behaved how in critical moments, and this memory shapes his system of trust more accurately than any logical arguments. His gift manifests itself as a natural ability to create a safe space for others. With Cancer around, the chaos of inner tension disappears, the number of protective masks decreases, and people begin to speak sincerely even without the intention of opening up. This is not manipulation or coercion, but a quiet attunement of space to stability. Cancer does not pressure, does not demand openness, does not force. It simply creates conditions in which the truth comes out on its own. A separate level of his divine gift is the ability to remain faithful without the need for constant control. Cancer does not demonstrate loyalty with loud gestures, but if it accepts someone into its inner space, this connection becomes practically irreversible. It does not betray easily, does not change its orientation for profit, does not destroy connections on impulse. Its loyalty is not ostentatious, but extremely deep. Cancer is also endowed with the divine gift of emotional regeneration. What becomes long-term internal damage for others turns into a source of strength for him over time. He knows how to recover from difficult experiences not by repression, but through internal reflection. His psyche does not break under pressure, but bends, after which it returns to a stable form with a new level of endurance. Another facet of his gift is the ability to defend without aggression. Cancer does not use direct confrontation as his primary means of influence. His defense is based on anticipation, averting threats, and creating barriers even before open conflict arises. He does not fight. He moves danger into a neutral zone long before its active phase. Cancer's divine gift is also manifested in a special sense of boundaries. They know exactly where the line between acceptable and destructive behavior lies. They do not let random people into their inner space, do not allow intrusions without consequences, and do not ignore warning signs. Their caution is not a weakness, but a form of highly sensitive protection. Cancer has a unique ability to maintain integrity in situations of emotional pressure. Where others lose themselves under the influence of fear, guilt, or external pressure, he maintains his inner line. He is not easily broken by manipulation or a sense of responsibility for everyone at once. They clearly feel where their limits of participation are, and where the zone is that they will not enter under any circumstances. Their gift is also manifested in their ability to accumulate resources without greed or fear of loss. Cancerians do not squander their strength, do not live on the verge of exhaustion, and do not waste energy on displays. He accumulates internal reserves gradually, imperceptibly, but in significant volumes. That is why, at critical moments, it turns out that he has more resources than it seems from the outside. Cancer's divine gift is a synthesis of a sense of security, stability, and deep memory. He does not seek to control externally, but has a strong influence on the internal processes of people and systems. His presence slowly but surely changes the atmosphere, the structure of relationships, the level of trust and stability. Where he is present, superficiality disappears, and it becomes impossible to exist in falsehood for long. It is this quiet power that is his true divine gift.